How's it going, everybody? This is Confessions of a Realtor Special Broker Edition with none other than David Adam Kurz himself. So David, this is a special edition of Realtor Confessions, a program that you spearheaded, created yourself. This is the broker edition, and I feel privileged and grateful to actually have the opportunity to interview you for this edition. So I hope you came ready. I remember the hard time you gave me on our episode. Still the #1 most viewed, by the way, but I think we're going to blow this one out of the water. But
I never imagined that somebody would actually have the balls to do this. I just want to point that out. I always thought that I would just continue interviewing realtors unarmed, unready. I don't know if that's the word, but not ready to for the questions that I had and come forward with. And I really did some bad things to a lot of agents. So,
well, and we're ready to expose this. So, cheers to you. By the way, cheers to your success and to a good show. By the way,
this is nighttime at Kurz Real Estate.
This is Kurz After Dark. So, David, owner, broker, CEO, published author, public speaker, productivity coach, Marine. Am I missing anything?
Yes.
Tell us.
Father, future husband, caregiver, philanthropist. That's the other side that people don't pay attention to, right? Most people focus on the guy who's on the grind, on the hustle, and sometimes it's not all about the hustle. It's about kind of the 50-50 balance, the work-life balance, the caregiving. Like right now, we have the entire front of our office is full of supplies for Puerto Rico. Why? Because we spearheaded an operation that would get things to people in need in Puerto Rico. So, yes, there's a whole flip side to that, but I'm pumped about everything that you said because I'm all of those too.
Absolutely, and I've been eyeballing the cup of noodles that some lucky person in Puerto Rico is going to get.
I'm eyeballing the pops.
Yeah, depends. All right, so I've watched you in the market even long before I came to work for your brokerage. You were a top producer. Your reputation was out of this park. Used to see you ripping around in an exotic sports car. You made such a huge name for you. Why leave all of that success behind to open up Kurz Real Estate? You had it so easy.
Well, first of all, I didn't have it easy. We had worked to that point in life, right?
Right.
So it was a lot of failure and a lot of years before we got to the point where David was able to run around and do all this crazy shit, have a good time, and do exotic vacations, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And then the question that you were asking me, human nature, I ask myself often, why in God's name did I leave that was working so well to create something new? And the answer is always the same. The drive to want more in your life and build more and become a better entrepreneur, sure, I think will never die inside of me. I oftentimes tell people I plan to retire by the time I'm 50, but I won't stop working. Does that make sense?
That makes great sense.
I think it's twofold. The first fold is my desire to build more.
Right.
You can't build more as long as you're under somebody else.
That makes sense.
Okay?
Right.
So I had a successful team. We were with a successful brokerage. But I had my limitations there. Financially, no. In growth, yes. Right? It all goes back to when I used to work at a steel company. When I left the Marine Corps, I got hired at a steel company. The guy taught me sales. And I was his #1 sales guy on the floor year after year after year. And a sales manager position opened up, and I went to him and I said, I want to be your sales manager. I'm your best guy on the floor. I can get all these other guys doing what I do. Right? And he said to me, no, I can't do that because you're my best guy on the floor. So if I sacrifice you to become the sales manager, not only will you make less money initially, but I'll make less money because I took my best sales guy off the floor. And I thought to myself, that doesn't even make damn sense to me.
penny wise and dollar foolish.
It really is.
Right.
Like, if you put me in the sales manager position and I can get these other guys doing what I do and maybe hire a few more guys to do what I used to do, not only will they make you so much more money, but I will get the bonuses I deserve, and I'll make more money, right? He didn't see it that way. In my brain, it just didn't make sense. So when I had my team, we did really well. We were kicking ass. We're like people knew who we were,
Right.
you know? And then I said, you know what, I'm going to open a brokerage. And the reason that I say it's twofold is because I've been at a few different real estate companies, and I see what they do, and I see how they treat their agents, and I now understand why 15%, maybe 20% of all of the 50,000 agents in South Florida are making the majority of the money,
Sure.
right? Let's call it 15% of the agents in South Florida are making 90% of the money. And I understand why now. Because agents are not taught how to be entrepreneurs. They're not taught how to be business owners. As a matter of fact, they're not even told they're business owners. They're not even taught that from the very beginning. They pull them in. They teach them the contract. They teach them, cold calling. They teach them lead generation. They teach them all this shit. And then very rarely does somebody say, hey, listen to me. You're a business owner. You need to learn finances. You need to learn QuickBooks. You need to learn tax returns. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn self-development. You need to learn branding. You need to learn how to thrive on your own.
And let's be real, if you don't treat it like a business, you're not going to ever have a business.
You're not ever going to have a business.
Right.
And you know why they don't teach that? Because they're afraid that somebody might learn too much and go open their own thing. In my opinion, that's okay.
Sure.
If I coached you so well for X amount of years that you ended up opening your own thing, hey, man, we could be reciprocal.
You just created a
take
great
care of
ally.
each other. I just
Absolutely.
created an amazing ally. Not only that, what if they do so well that they look at me and say, hey, David, I want to open up a branch office for you?
Sure.
Winning situation. Homegrown.
Yep.
Does the right thing. Is ethical. Knows the right thing. So if I could hire 200 agents and make them strong entrepreneurs and make them ethical, if I could have 200 agents that actually pick up their goddamn phone when somebody calls them, right? Am I in a winning situation? Did I curtail today's market? Did I change the industry even minutely? Yes, 1,000%, absolutely. So I think that a large part of me opening this brokerage was wanting to make a difference in the real estate community.
Well, it's scary. You want to be part of that successful 15%. It's a pretty easy recipe. Be ethical and answer your damn phone.
Yes.
Go figure.
Be at the office every day.
Sure.
Make your phone calls. Lead generate. Follow up with your old clients. Never allow relationships to falter. It's not easy.
So I got to ask you, what do you think has been your biggest achievement since opening up Kurz Real Estate?
Oh, man. So, damn, that's a tough question. I think my biggest achievement is growing as fast as we did. But my vanity says that our biggest achievement is earning the awards that we've earned. We're 1 year in. We've got a marketing award, we've got an entrepreneurship award, and we were nominated for the most innovative brokerage in the country by Inman.
By Inman.
Like,
yep.
Come on, dude. Like, does it get and it didn't feel this way until I went and I met with a bunch of other people who were nominated, and they were 5 years in the business, 600 agents in, like all this crazy shit. And I'm like, I don't even have 100 agents in. I'm a year in, and what am I even doing here?
Sure.
You know, and it was so impressive that we could be a part of that. So the vanity says the awards we've earned because of the hard work we've put in. I don't know if that's vanity, but you know, winning an award is a little bit vain, right?
Well,
And then and the flip side to that is growing as fast as we've grown, doing the things that we've done. You know, putting fear in certain people's hearts and laughter and cheer in others.
right.
You know, it's been such a blessing, man. You know, to be able to bring in the agents that we have right now who truly love this company, who come into work, who grind,
You
who
see
come
it.
to
It's
the
an energy.
training, the energy is beautiful. We've had such an amazing group, and people tell me you can't have that with a large group. When I'm here to tell you, we're 85 agents strong, and we have that. We have that culture.
No, it's tremendous.
Right? And so, don't tell me I can't have it with 250. I promise you that I can have that culture with 250. You know why I can promise you that? Because if an agent doesn't follow the culture and they don't sit right and they're talking shit by the water cooler and they're not doing the right thing and they're unethical, they can go.
We've seen this.
We've seen it.
Absolutely.
They can go.
Well, I don't know if it's vanity or coincidence, but I did notice that most of those awards started coming after I joined your brokerage. I probably just pure coincidence, but
Could be. Could be.
But all kidding aside, you've put together an amazing recipe.
Vanity's a very important part of real estate agents.
For sure. Well, I'll tell you, I was privileged to be able to be in Coconut Grove at the Ritz where they had the awards, and seeing you get up on stage and winning that award and nominated for Inman, as well as all the other awards. I mean, it's what you've done in the first year is going to be a very hard thing to top, but if anybody can do it, it's you. But now I got to switch this question around. Well, what do you feel has been your biggest opportunity for growth or your biggest challenge?
It's a real great question. I think my biggest challenge has been recruiting agents.
Sure.
Agents that sit with me love me. And I would say 80% of them join our company. The challenge has been getting our own agents to be our cheerleaders. I haven't been able to master that yet. And I know the only way to master that is to have such a strong culture that the agents in the company just can't fathom being anywhere else. And so they cheer for you naturally and organically.
Sure.
Shouldn't be a push thing, right? So I spoke to a friend of mine, which I consider to be a mentor, and he went from 50 agents to 500 agents in 3 years, mostly organically. His own agents were referring agents. And so I think that that's been my biggest challenge. Like, how do I get our agents to love us so much that they just feel compelled to put people in front of us? That has been my biggest, I guess, challenge in a sense, if you want to call it that.
Sure. But, I mean, it's also fair to say, though, a little bit different philosophically than a lot of the other brokerages that are just trying to fill
Sometimes
seats.
We're a little bit hard to swallow for who we are.
But you're also a little bit more selective, though, because I see a lot of people come through the door that walk out of here without an offer.
I do. And that's okay, too.
Sure.
Right? But that's been my challenge. I think,
okay.
I don't have a problem bringing in a rookie agent.
Sure.
Because I know that a rookie agent's easier to mold than somebody who has bad habits.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
Bringing in somebody with bad habits who has a willingness to change, great opportunity. Bringing in somebody who's producing already at a great level. I look at them as, I'm glad that you're producing at a great level. What can I offer you to get you to produce at double the level, if you even want it? Because some people don't want that. And I'm okay with that. I understand that. When I talk to agents, I tell them, listen, if you want to be a one deal a month person, I understand that.
Sure.
If that's what's okay for you, I'm okay with that. Because not everybody's trying to do $100 million in sales.
Right on.
Not everybody's trying to do $5 million in sales. Maybe there are agents out there who want to do a $250,000 sale once a month, and that's enough to cover their family and everything, and they get to go to all the baseball games and this and that, and they live pretty much a stress-free life. 100%, I'm with you. I'll help you maintain that and do that, right? So I think, like I said, and like you said, basically, not everybody gets an offer. If you don't have the mentality, I've walked people out the door and said, thank you very much for coming by. This is not for you.
Right.
Right? I've had people tell me they have industry secrets that they don't want to share with anybody else. I'm like, have you ever met Google?
There's no secrets.
Thank you very much. You have to go.
No.
Right? So.
Well, shifting gears. We recently had your 1-year anniversary party. Congratulations on passing 1 year, by the way.
Which most businesses don't.
Nope, this is true. It was epic. Even the mayor showed up. You took over Brickell. A huge white party. Tell us about this party.
So the party was amazing. We all worked really hard to put this together, you know. And when I say we all, I mean myself, my fiance, who is an agent with us, Ismaris, who's our front office manager, my daughter, Olivia, who's my personal assistant, Laura, who's our creative director. Like, we all worked really hard to really put together a great event. We hired a great PR. You know, we brought Jamie on board for the event, and it was multiple visits to the location, multiple plannings, maps, and like everything we could have imagined. But man, what a great event, dude! Like, so first of all, I painted my hair white for the event.
No, it was a great event. And I spied on you a lot, and there was a lot of great venues you could have chosen. This one was over the top. Matter of fact, I want you to explain that to me, what you just mentioned. So the hair, the white hair.
So you printed out pictures.
So I mean, listen, at over 300 pounds to get attention next to this, I had to wear a fluorescent dashiki. So tell us about the hair. Is the hair coming back? This got such popular reviews.
I know. I actually thought about keeping it that way. The truth is that
and you guys can see this on Facebook, social media. You got to see the white hair.
So I went to get my hair cut with my barber.
Sure.
Who's been my guy for 3-4 years now, right?
Right.
And we sit down, and I'm like, so we're having this white party and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I go, man, wouldn't it be funny if I, like, dyed my hair straight white? And his wife works on the other side of him. Like, they have the mirror on both sides, basically, so she's on the other side. And she just peeks over, and she goes, you should do that. And I look at him, and he's like, hey, let's do it. I'm in. I said, all right, how long is this going to take? He's like, hour and a half, 2 hours. 4 hours later, and my hair is burning, everything is happening. But the point is that, like, I took it over the top that day. I had a good friend of mine, Chris, who emailed me or sent me a message. He goes, please, God, tell me this is the best marketing ploy ever. You know?
Hey, you know something? Even people from other brokerages, they're like, oh, you work with, hey, is his hair still white? So definitely tremendous marketing.
That's awesome.
So, question. Back to reality. So, there's approximately 60,000 licensed agents out there. There's tons of brokerages. Everybody's got their own shtick. Everybody's got their own spiel. I mean, hell, some people walk in and they have a glass desk and they start drawing in marker talking about building empires for you, for Christ's sakes. Why, if you're an agent with so many options, would you choose Kurz Real Estate over every other brokerage out here in South Florida?
I think there's a few simple reasons. One, the leadership.
Sure.
Okay? And I say that heavily because the leadership in some of these other companies, like you discussed, right?
Sure.
Don't come from a real estate background.
Right.
They come from a title background, a management background, all kinds of different backgrounds that have nothing to do with real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Here, your broker owner has an average of 60 to 70 closings a year, on average.
That's tremendous.
I might be able to know what I'm talking about, right?
Sure.
I might know what works and what doesn't work. I might have failed 100 times and able to tell you what works and what doesn't work to avoid you from failing. I might be a decent mentor, a decent coach. You have our 5 brand ambassadors, which includes yourself. Dustin, Lori, Jen, Eric, who am I missing? George.
Mm-hmm.
5 brand ambassadors who collectively have probably 30 years of experience, 40 years of experience, right? Collectively. George, which a lot of people don't know, and you'll know with this video now, has accepted a position to be our sales manager for Coconut Grove.
That's a huge step.
It's a huge step, right? So George is going to be fantastic in that position. Jennifer's my fiance, her team's growing. You're a great friend and a great agent, and your team is growing. Lori is kicking ass all the time, right? And so forth, and Eric and his team, and Eric's a business partner.
Yep.
Like, you have the right minds to assist you when you need it. So I think that our biggest difference is how we coach, what we coach, and who your support system is. So I just explained the support system, and earlier today I was talking about the coaching. We coach differently. We coach entrepreneurship. We coach sales techniques. We
Right.
coach closing techniques. We coach the important shit, right? Because most companies will teach you lead generation, just lead generate. Throw shit against the wall,
Exactly.
see what sticks, right?
It's a numbers game.
Great. So I just lead generated a ton. I spoke to 100 people. I locked in appointments with 20 of them. I got a 20% return rate.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck now? What do you do now? Right? How does that conversation go? Do you know physical mimicking? Do you know sales techniques? Do you know closing conversation? Do you know any of this to be able to take you to the next level? Can you present a listing presentation effectively?
That's a good point, because how are you leading a team when you haven't done a listing presentation, when you haven't failed so many times towards your success?
It's almost impossible.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think one of the biggest things that makes us different is that people come to learn that. Another thing that makes us different is that we teach and coach so well between myself and our ambassadors that we don't have a 20% rate. Let me explain to you what that means.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the majority of brokerages, 20% of the agents do 90% of the work.
Right.
We have a 76% production rate.
That's incredible.
We basically flipped the coin. What does that mean? That means that the 24% that are not producing are either brand new, they're still learning the ropes, have recently transitioned, new to the company. Whatever the case is, they've got great excuses because I've looked at the name, ready to make some phone calls and go, what the? You know what I mean?
Right.
And the 76 that are producing, the 76% that are producing are amazing. For instance, let's talk about August. I don't have September's numbers in. Let's talk about August. And September was shit because of the hurricane and everything else.
Sure.
Let's talk about August numbers. We have 85 agents. In August, we had 82. Right? 82 agents. We had 46 deals go through. 9 of them were rentals. Do the math.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have almost half the amount of agents that we have had a deal. That's what makes us different.
Sure.
Go do the numbers anywhere else. All these companies can complain. I have 250 agents and we're the biggest company in South Florida. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, what's your production?
Right.
Who are your top producers and what are they producing? What are their numbers? Show me. Those are questions that agents should be asking, right?
Well, and let's touch on that for a second, because you had a great analogy that you shared with me a while back when I was first coming on board, and it really it's stuck with me ever since. Your McDonald's story. You know, share this.
Why are you bringing up bullshit?
Yeah, well, you know something. I like the story, and I think it's so beneficial for anybody watching
So I hope
this.
it's the same story, but I remember I was with another company.
Sure.
I don't want to say their name.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was with another company, and I remember somebody specifically telling me when I was comparing it to other companies because I was thinking about moving, you know? And somebody said to me, I can't believe that you're with the McDonald's of real estate. And I thought to myself, what does that even mean? And he said, well, McDonald's has a store in every city in America, and then some. It doesn't mean they have gourmet burgers. They have the cheapest burgers on the planet. You can get you a cheeseburger, a hamburger for 99 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, what are you doing with the McDonald's of real estate? This was at a listing appointment. Do you know how embarrassing that is? To go to a listing appointment, rah, rah, I'm the best. I can get your house sold. And the guy's like, it's like me catering a wedding with McDonald's.
And I remember when you brought it up, you actually caught me off guard. I actually thought we were going to go have lunch someplace. You asked me, think about where can we get a really, really, really good hamburger?
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe Hillstone, maybe Smith and
Yeah.
Wesson. I was, you know, and you're like, you didn't say McDonald's. And I was like, well, you said a really good hamburger. And you said exactly. And, you know, I've had time to think about this afterwards also. Your analogy also holds true because if you think about it, when was the last time you saw a 5-star chef flipping burgers at a McDonald's?
Don't.
You're not going to walk in and see Emeril Lagasse then.
No.
And
you're not going to see Walter Mercado. You're not going to see any of these guys there. You're not going to see them.
That doesn't mean that a person at McDonald's couldn't eventually become a 5-star chef, but if you were looking for that 5-star chef, you wouldn't necessarily recruit him from McDonald's. And I think a lot of that also transcends with brokerages.
It does.
So, and that's kind of important. Now, you mentioned philanthropy. I've known you to be a very charitable person. Actually, I've had the pleasure of working at a food bank with you at 5 in the morning, ripping around the streets of Coconut Grove with your slingshot. The hurricane relief donations that you've made. I know you're very active, involved in the community. Even when you got recognized by your Hometown Heroes program for your support with our local heroes, our fire departments, our police officers, veterans. I know you're very active with BayRep. And at one point, you even decided that you were going to drop the sports car, go green, and jump in an Uber. Tell us about that experience.
All right, so for multiple reasons. One, I'm building a company. So the sports car that I was ripping around in was really digging into my marketing dollars.
Okay.
Right? So I decided, you know what? Let's get rid of the sports car because the cost of the sports car is significant. It was okay before, but right now, if I want to put in marketing dollars into this company and I want to grow this company, I have to be conscious of what I'm doing. So I got rid of the sports car. And I said, what am I going to go buy? Well, why would I buy something? Why not just Uber? Right? So I started Ubering full time. Let me tell you something. One of the best things I ever did. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you. So why was it one of the best things that I did? I never passed $250 a month on Uber.
Okay.
Now, in comparison to the $1,600, $1,700 a month that I was spending prior to that, $250 a month was great. Not only was I Ubering and spending a lot less money, but I could sit in the back of the car and I could work, I could check my email, I could go on social media, I could do all kinds of stuff. I loved it. It only sucked if I had to stop at the supermarket. Wasn't happening. If I had to meet a client and I had to show up like strong.
Right.
You know? Those are the places where it hurt me because Miami's so super fucking official, right? Whereas, you know, some places you go to, if you don't pull up in a nice car, they already assume that you don't do a lot of business.
Well, and I remember you also talking about how it was green and all these benefits, and I know you're good, but I just kind of wanted to. I saw your car in the parking lot today, and it kind of looks like you went the other way on the whole. Is this what tree huggers are driving nowadays?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Cadillac has done a really good job at fuel economy.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's an 8-passenger Escalade, so if you do the math like that, you're taking eight Ubers off the road.
What's important is that it has Wi-Fi and I'm able to work.
Okay, listen, don't make excuses. You know what? Listen, you're carrying 8 people around. That's 8 less cars that you have.
I got to the point where I was exhausted with Uber. I got picked up by all kinds of weird people.
Okay.
I've been in cars that smell 100% like marijuana.
Okay.
I've been in cars where the steering wheel was missing and there were 2 handles to drive the car. Like, I've been in some really weird cars. So I say to myself, you know what? I miss having a space. And for me, that's what it was. When I got the car again, it was about having a space. Like something that I could drive to work and leave my personal belongings in if I wanted to. You know, or have something where I had tissue. Or it's still silly, but that's your personal space.
Absolutely.
You know? And you're driving home and you can put on your own music. And if you want to scream to Aerosmith on the way home, you can, you know, you can do it. You know what I mean? I was missing that, and so I ended up in a extended cab, fully loaded.
I'm just busting chops. I'm in love with the car. It's a great car, but had to call you on that. I knew hugging trees wasn't going to last for you.
No, I didn't.
So I got 2 final questions.
Okay.
And first of which, I think a lot of people would be curious to know what actually drives David Adam Kurz, other than your Escalade? What drives you? So.
What drives me? Oh my God. I could say so many things.
Sure.
Honestly, like impressing my children drives me.
Mm-hmm.
Not providing for them, impressing them.
Right.
And there's a huge difference, right? Because you can provide for your kids all day long. You can give them money all the time. Like, it doesn't matter where you get the money. And they're just happy. Oh, Dad, I need $30. Oh, Dad, I need $40. But to impress them, for them to say, wow, my dad built a business. He's doing amazing things. Look at my dad on stage. Like, that drives me to be
Sure.
able to impress them, to make them proud. That motivates me. Another thing that drives me is changing lives. When I get an agent that comes into my office and says, hey man, before I came here, I was lost. Like, there's no tomorrow. I was fucking turning corners that didn't exist. And now, man, I just feel driven. I feel riding. And I've got 2 closings already. And that's more than I've ever had before. And thank you.
Right.
That to me, like, blows my mind, man, to be able to look at somebody in the eye and look at them tell me that they've done better because I've coached them and pushed them and made them do something that maybe they were uncomfortable with to grow and get some money and get some closings and provide for their families and provide for themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, there's no broker in here that's just making money to buy, you know, whatever,
Right.
garbage. They're in here for a reason. They want to do something with it, you know?
Absolutely.
To be able to teach things like investment and have people look at me and go, I didn't know it was that easy to buy a property and flip it,
Right.
you know? Damn, Dave, you made me an extra 20 grand this month. Thank you. That blows my mind. Like, to be able to, some people want to change the world, right? You got Elon Musk, you got Apple, they want to change the world. I want to change the real estate industry. I want to make it better. I want this profession to be respected, right? Because we deal with clients all day long that don't respect our profession.
Absolutely.
They look at us just below car salesmen. So what can we do? And it's going to take time, but what can we do to get up there with doctor and lawyer, psychiatrist, specialists? What can we do to get there? What we can do is build stronger, more educated, more ethical agents all the way up so that they're out there doing the right thing and people say, you know what, I respect you for the job that you do. And I'm willing to pay you the money that you deserve for the job that you do. That means the world to me. That's what drives me every single day.
Well, those are great reasons. I see you doing it. And I got to tell you, watching you throughout your first year and the few months that have passed since, I can say prior to coming here, I saw you throw a target on your back and watched everybody take shots at you. Actually, only drew me closer. and what you've done is nothing short of amazing. To have this agent count, to have the productivity of this many agents, your ratios. If you think about it, the average agent in this market sells 2 to 3 homes per year. Your average agent makes less than $28,000 a year.
It's horrific.
It's horrendous. You've defied all the standards, all the status quo. So my final question is, where do you go from here? Where do you see this 2 years from now, 5 years from now? What's next?
So 5 years from now, I see us at over 600 agents with at least 5 offices.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that 5 offices is a definition of how we grow. I just feel that it would bring versatility to our agents to be able to work in multiple locations. So that's why I say 5 offices in 5 years. Over the next year, I intend to open 2 offices. That means that by the end of my 2nd year, my intention is to be 3 offices strong. They may not be as big and extravagant as this one, but they'll be working, functional, strong offices with the same platforms. 600 agents, I plan to be at 110 by the end of the year. So I want to grow more than 100 agents a year. The reason for that is that I feel that we can still be a strong community with an amazing culture, no matter how big we get. I know companies like that. I know companies with thousands of agents that have amazing culture. The culture fits them, and it fits the people that are with them, right? And so I want to be that kind of company. The company that people join because the culture is amazing, because the people are amazing, because the leadership is amazing.
Sure.
I want to write books. I want to write more books. I want to write 1 book a year. I wrote 2 books last year. I want to write 1 book a year this year, moving forward. I want to have, in order for me to write 1 book a year, I have to have tremendous experiences moving forward. Therefore, I need to work my ass off. I need to grow. I need to build offices. I need to do things so I can talk about the experience that I've had and allow people to read those experiences so that they can do it too.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, there you have it. You've heard it from David Kurz himself, the special edition broker interview of Realtor Confessions. If you're an agent out there, you want to produce more, you want to do more, you want to have an opportunity that you're not otherwise having somewhere else, this is the place to be. I don't know where else you can find this level of support, expertise, and everything behind you that you put into it. But more so than anything else, and something that I'm most grateful for, is the culture that's been created in here. The vibe, the energy, the amount of the level of support. I've been in other brokerages where you ask somebody for help, they want part of your deal for that. The collaboration that and the atmosphere that you've created, I have no doubts that not only will you make every goal that you just mentioned, but you'll far exceed it. And anybody who's yet to come here, who does come here, is going to be along for an amazing ride. And the people that are here are in such a fortunate position to get to enjoy this journey with you. David, I want to thank you for the interview. You're a brave soul.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.
I am a brave
Cheers.
soul. I didn't imagine for this to happen, but kudos to you for making it happen.
And thanks for being a good sport.
Here's a perfect example, right? I push our agents to do video. We have a studio. We got a green screen. We got cameras. We got iPads. We got lighting. We have all this stuff. Very few agents take advantage of that. And so here's a perfect example of you, someone who took advantage of that and said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with you. So if you want me to do it, fuck you. You're doing it with me, right?
Well, I just want to push my limits and see how much I can get away with before I get kicked out of the brokerage.
But honestly, I was expecting worse questions. So the car thing was a little fucked up.
Well,
but it's not bad.
Cheers to you, brother.
So
I'm here
great
for the
job
long
to you
haul.
for-
Thank you.
For doing an amazing job today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Kick ass every day. Take names. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Wake up in the morning. Go work out. Lead generate. Follow up with your business. Because if you don't, and you have no business, look in the mirror and blame yourself. 10 rules. See you soon.
And most important, take action.